Thank you. Thank you. Speaker of the National Assembly, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Deputy President of the Republic, David Tabete Mabuza, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, the leaders of political parties here present, as well as the Deputy President of the governing party, Paul Mashatile. Honorable members, in the State of the Nation address last week, I said that a nation is defined by how its people meet the gravest difficulties, whether they work together and confront their challenges as one, united by a common purpose, or whether they surrender to the problems before them. The same can be said of their elected representatives. As we, the elected representatives of the people of our country, gathered here in this House, we have to ask ourselves whether we are able to work together to confront the challenges of our nation, united by a common purpose, or will we be consumed by our differences and in doing so surrender to the problems that beset our country? The debate on the State of the Nation address over the last 2 days has done much to emphasize our differences and to reveal the extent of political contestation in our society. In a way that is to be expected and even welcomed, in a vibrant and robust democracy like ours, we must expect such contestation. The debate has raised important issues, and some constructive suggestions have also been put forward. But there are those in this House who, instead of being what I would call merchants of hope, have cast themselves as merchants of despair. They have determined that their political fortunes are best served by depicting our country, South Africa, as being in chaos, instead of being parties that acknowledge the challenges and that are determined to work together with all of us to find solutions. Rather than present a balanced assessment of the state of the nation, they have instead resorted to dishonest and self-serving rhetoric. Rather than acknowledge the grave damage caused to our country by what has ensued in the past, such as state capture, by the effects of a devastating global pandemic, and by the worst public violence in the history of our democracy, some of these honorable members have failed to come up with practical suggestions or solutions that can resolve the many problems that our country faces today. Some chose to belittle and even to deride what has been achieved over the last 5 years in the midst of extremely difficult conditions, because it does not serve their political interests to recognize the progress that has been made and progress that is plainly clear to everyone who cares to look. The contributions that they have made may serve their electoral aspirations, but they do not serve the interests of the people of South Africa. The task we have as elected representatives, as I said, is to emerge from this debate with a common determination to meet the challenges of the present, but also to renew the promise contained in our Constitution of a better life for all. Where people began to doubt the promise of our Constitution, it is our job to restore their faith in our Constitution, not through words, but through action. To do so, we must reflect deeply and honestly on what has gone wrong, on where we have strayed from the path we set out in the first place. As the Honorable Prince Buthelezi rightly said in his remarks, which were delivered by the Honorable Singh, what South Africans want is honesty, fairness, justice, and to know that their government is capable and willing to do its job. At the same time, we must reflect on the progress that we have made, and real progress. And we must concentrate on the actions that we need to take now to overcome the challenges that face us. Nobody can deny the distance we have come over the past 5 years, nor can anyone deny that our country has been struck by successive crises that have severely impeded our efforts to improve the lives of our people as we would have wanted to. We inherited a state hollowed out by corruption and malfeasance and an economy in steep decline. Since then, we have rebuilt the capability and restored the independence of institutions that are essential in our democracy, institutions that had been weakened. We have reinvigorated entities like the South African Revenue Service, the National Prosecuting Authority, the Special Investigating Unit, to fulfill their mandates effectively without fear or favor.